Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about Mark Meadows' petition for rehearing en banc in the 11th Circuit from the panel decision by the 11th Circuit affirming the district court saying Meadows cannot remove the Fulton County case from state court to federal court. That's quite a legal mouthful, isn't it? And, we're talking now about petitions for rehearings en banc and the like. But let me tell you the headline that immediately caught my attention. It's the counsel. So he's now brought in for this petition for rehearing en banc, which is when you ask the entire circuit court, every judge on the 11th Circuit, to hear and potentially overturn, reverse a decision by a 3-judge panel. And also the U.S. Supreme Court, the pro from Dover, I think you got to say, Paul Clement. There's a very small number, 5 or fewer, on Olympus of the hottest shot appellate lawyers. And Paul Clement, well, I don't think I'm talking out of school. I can say that the court itself has previously indicated that, they don't get any better. He's a former Solicitor General. He famously gives argument without notes. I actually was on the other side of him just a few months ago. He's really good. Whereas Trump all the way through has had lackluster to crappy lawyers, and, some others like, Giuliani or Eastman have had really lowest level, barely law school graduates. It's always been the case that Meadows has had the top-notch counsel of everybody involved in all of Trump land. He's got George Terwilliger, former deputy attorney general. Terwilliger has brought in this former Supreme Court clerk who's a great writer, and now Paul Clement. So to me, that's the headline. It is guaranteed to get the full attention of the 11th Circuit as a whole and the Supreme Court. Now, that doesn't mean it succeeds, because we are, at this point, first, let's just talk about a petition for rehearing en banc. Most courts grant them rarely. The 11th Circuit grants them particularly rarely. The opinion here that he wants the whole court to rehear was a 3-judge unanimous panel, with the author being the very conservative, highly respected, highly conservative Chief Judge William Pryor. So that's got all the sort of earmarks of a case that they're really not going to take for rehearing. Nevertheless, he's made a pretty impressive effort. So the rehearing petition itself, it actually has to start before you can even do a rehearing petition. You have to tell the court that you believe in good faith there are these cases that it goes against, and it's really important. Clement has done that, and he proceeds basically. Remember, Mark Meadows has always had by far the strongest chance for removal, because he could say that kind of anything, the president does, he has to kind of tail. Even if, like, the president's doing improper things, he's got to sort of stay informed and the like. And he's certainly doesn't have the rank criminal behavior, of Trump at the ellipse, etc. So he's always been by far the sort of spear to this issue. And this has been, the last of a multilateral strategy on his part that has worked to date, but now seems to have really hit a brick wall. But starting way back in the January 6th committee, and then he's referred for contempt, but he dodges that. And then he cooperates just enough in the Jack Smith investigation that, but he's still not an official cooperator. And for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to be an unindicted co-conspirator. And now it's all down to Fulton County. But, if he can't get removal, he would try to get removal and then say he's immune as a federal officer. And failing that, all his navigation of this tough slalom course is for naught, because he totally wipes out on the last flag here. So he's pulling out all the shots. And if nothing else, a forceful petition for rehearing on banc could take some time. And then it's obvious he's going to go to the Supreme Court, hoping at least the court gives it due consideration. And so there's delay. Now, what is the use of delay for him? Just the overall hope. It's possible the whole case can't go until he, Meadows, has the removal litigation all taken care of. And right now it looks like remember, we're back in Fulton County, Fani Willis, Scott McAfee. If they want to do all the defendants together, that would include him. And if he can, string it out long enough so that there's no chance of being tried before November, he's got the same kind of, but sort of more hedged. He's definitely playing it on both sides, cooperating somewhat. He did testify in the grand jury, but he hopes in the same way Trump hopes. Somehow a miracle happens, Trump wins in November, and this is a state court prosecution. But, then Trump initiates criminal proceedings against Fani Willis, whatever he tries to do, maybe it avails to Mark Meadows' advantage as well. Now, the petition itself basically makes two arguments. One has to do with the finding of what it means to do acts under the removal statute relating to your color of office. How big a sort of perimeter of protection that provides Meadows, who, recall, does some pretty nasty stuff, right? Goes down to Georgia and tries to browbeat them and the like. Is that somehow relating to the panel was having none of it? That's, there's no federal role even in trying to superintend state elections. But then second, the one that I think Clement is really going for is they did hold that it doesn't apply to former federal office holders. That was an alternative holding, but that's a clean legal issue. It's, I think, a novel holding. So he wants to, that's just the kind of thing to interest the Supreme Court. So he wants to say, look, you are possibly subject to prosecution for years after you leave office, yet you stop the immunity just then. That doesn't make sense. It contradicts the scheme, and it really undermines the entire purpose of the removal statute. So those are the basic two arguments. So that's, he's taken the absolute best shot, bringing in Paul Clement. Even if it doesn't succeed, they'll give it, as much careful thought as any lawyer would make them do. And he can eat up as much time as would be possible. And time is hope, especially for Mark Meadows, who, remember, Fani Willis has said is getting no deal. There's Trump himself and then Giuliani and Meadows in this second rung. So he's really looking, at serious time in a Georgia state prison. So pulling out all stops. So there you have it. Paul Clement, rehearing on banc. Good luck with that in the 11th Circuit, especially given this opinion. But, trying everything, and then he'll surely be seeking review of this in the U.S. Supreme Court, and nobody better poised and positioned to persuade the justices to do it than Paul Clement, his lawyer. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.